of those was on the Prevent watch list. Prevent didn't seem to, I know, I appreciate the lack of funding, but it didn't seem to be very good at preventing things.
I think it's quite a hard one to measure in the fact that if someone was prevented from radicalising, you would then never know anything about them. So you will only ever see when something goes wrong. So it's very hard to therefore take an accurate measure of that. But I think sort of coming back to where we are right now in the UK with anti-Semitism and what we might see for our Jewish communities moving forwards is a complete ignoring, I would say, of anti-Semitism as one of the worst threats in the UK for a long time. And I think we've got to the point now where anti-Semitism has become normalised across communities in the UK and to some extent almost taught at university level. So we're at a point now where no matter how well Prevent was doing, we have a mass anti-Semitism issue. We have a convergence of far-left anti-Semitism, Islamist anti-Semitism, and still some strands of far-right anti-Semitism converging, all connecting over the fact that they think Jews are the problem to whatever their problem is they may feel the country is facing. And when I talk about that being taught in universities, I'm talking about the absolute demonisation of any support for a Jewish state whatsoever. That's, support for there being an independent state for Jews is called Zionism. And the very word is now so demonised. The majority of Jews believe in a Jewish state and thereby, by extension, are Zionist. And that has become such a demonised word that we're at a point now where I would say a good section of the general community in the UK would say they are anti-Zionist, vehemently so, and wouldn't really know what they were talking about. And we've been taken there by the far left, and we've been taken there by Islamists too, who really align on this and have somewhat been working together on it. It's a very, very worrying time.
Some violent Islamists, when some attackers, or would-be attackers, I should say, hear the words, down with the Zionists, globalise the Intifada is another phrase that we've heard very often on marches. The people that are perhaps prone to attack will hear those phrases about Zionists and about Intifada and think it's their duty to attack Jews.
Yeah, there's an absolute ignorance around these terms. They've been intentionally put into the rhetoric by Islamists. It's the strategy of the Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, and the will of Iran to remove Israel from the map, to be able to have a caliphate across the Middle East. And they're using terms that appeal to left sentiments and pulling on human rights heartstrings to forward their agenda, which is to have a Muslim caliphate across the Middle East. It's incredibly manipulative, but it's proving incredibly successful.
I think the government has allowed this to fester. I mean, on one hand, we're declaring a Palestinian state, the Prime Minister did the other week, and on the other hand, Zionism, which is recognising an Israeli state, is evil.
I don't think the government has said in any way that recognising the Israeli state is evil, but yes, swathes of the general public.
But the perception of it is amongst people in this country that it is evil.
Right, perception, I think, unfortunately, that is where we are. When it comes to recognising a Palestinian state, I think the reasons for which Keir Starmer did that are really problematic, and the way in which he delivered that was really problematic. But working towards having two states is very important. So it's a great shame that that moment has been lost in this very, I would say, silly narrative that hasn't won us anything and will not bring greater peace at this time.
Okay, well, Charlotte Littlewood, former Prevent practitioner, thanks indeed for joining us and for your expertise. Really appreciate it.
Let's go back now to GB News national reporter Charlie Peters, who has some more breaking news for us.
Well, Dawn and Tom, earlier I was describing a new image that we were working to prepare for our audience, and we can show it to you now. This is another image of the attacker involved in this morning's fatal incident at the Heaton Park Synagogue in Manchester. Now, this is a much clearer image displaying the device that I believe the police and also the British Army's Royal Logistics Corps bomb disposal unit were responding to. but also in his right hand what appears to be the knife used in the attack. And earlier this morning, Greater Manchester Police referred to 4 people being injured. That's now gone up to 5. 2 have sadly died, 3 others in a serious condition, and they referred to a mixture of injuries caused by both stabbing and also a vehicle being driven into them by this man. And before, from that photo further away, behind the gates outside of the Heaton Park Synagogue, he appeared to be wearing a vest. And here it is, much clearer. It is a heavy vest, a full vest. So that looks more like, to me, a bulletproof vest than a stab-proof vest. And you can see the strap on the top of his right shoulder. That's where sort of a Velcro strap that would allow an individual to get in and out of this vest. You can see that there. So, and also more helpfully with this higher quality image than the previous one we had available, he does appear to be of Arab or Middle Eastern descent with a very thick and full beard. Obviously, growing a long beard is a traditional Islamic practice, and there in his grey tracksuit bottoms, what appears to be a black t-shirt underneath,